Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to Finding the Joy in the Journey. I'm Gina Kovaria-Krupka, and I am blessed to be the host of this show, as well as the spiritual director for CSL Greater Boston. I am here to talk about joy. To me, there are two things that are most important in life. And, I love love, and I think joy and peace. Those are the things that mean so much to me because I think love is who we are and what we exude when we have the other two. But how do you get there? I also host the Peace Circle on Monday evenings, and both shows, Finding the Joy in the Journey and the Peace Circle, are the how to have more of it in your experience. Who doesn't want more joy? Well, this is an hour where we come together with a conversation to do just that, finding new ways to bring more joy into life. Every guest is someone who has created a way or facilitates a way or can help you find or create more joy in your life. And today is no different. I am so grateful, and we are blessed to have Reverend Cynthia James here with us today. She has had a busy summer. We had her on, and she had talked about all that was to come, and it is here. And I am so excited to talk about her new CD and, of course, her new book, which sounds phenomenal. So I haven't, it's pre-release. So it's on Amazon, and we'll work on that. But we're going to hear all about it today. Reverend Cynthia James is a transformational coach, an inspirational leader, and guiding people to make changes at a deep level for lasting healing. She excels as a speaker, coach, singer. She's a multiple award-winning author. What Will Set You Free and Revealing Your Extraordinary Essence, her #1 bestseller for I Choose Me. The Art of Being Phenomenally Successful Woman at Home and at Work. Cynthia James embodies the quote, "I am not what I have done, I am what I have become." And she leads others to do the same. Her own life was transformed as she transcended a violent and abusive childhood. Through education and a personal healing, she created the foundation for all of her programs. Her work in self care strategies and emotional integration support leaders, women, and organizations internationally. Her new book, Does My Voice Matter?, launches on September 27th. And like I said, pre order is already available. And I'm so excited to have you here with us. Thank you for being part of finding the joy in the journey today. How are you?
Oh, Gina, so happy to be with you, to be back with you. I'm doing great. I feel very blessed.
So much has happened since we saw you last. How's the summer been? How exciting!
It's been great. It's been busy. We took our granddaughter to Paris for her graduation present. My album launched. The book is coming out in September, and there's I've been speaking and teaching, so there's been a lot going on.
It has it, and I'm blessed. I follow you on Facebook as well as I follow you on your YouTube pages, and you are on. Thankfully, you're everywhere, and I love it. I love hearing about the good stuff that is happening, and I love knowing that you teach us how to. You're not just here to do stuff, you teach us how to do stuff. You don't just set the example, you show us, in the step by step, and I appreciate that. I was introduced to you at a weekend retreat that we had for our ministerial school. And the way that it's not just what you say, but it's how you do it in the manner in which is just sacred. So I appreciate all that you bring to the world. Your light is amazing, and thank you for being here. And I want to show people your album cover. So let's show people your album chosen, and we're going to play two songs from that today, which I'm very excited about. So let's start off. If you don't mind, do you mind starting off with one?
Not at all. Let's do I See Me.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely. So we're going to start off with I See Me, and then you can talk to us about it afterwards. Thank you so much. Let's bring in some joy.
There've been so many times in my life I blindly rushed into love, never stopping to see what really feeds my soul. So many times I allowed emotions to cloud my intuitive knowing, regretting what flooded my soul, hating what life was showing. The consequences slam me, push me and pull me, stop me in my tracks. I knew I was responsible, I knew I had to move, I knew a ship was calling me, screaming for a change. Well, now I see my gifts, I see what I deserve, I see what no longer serves me, I see who I've come here to be. I see me, I see me, I see me, I see me. So many times dimming my light, shutting down my voice, afraid I'd be a loser, forgetting I had a choice. So many times I allowed emotions to cloud my intuitive knowing, regretting what flooded my soul, hating what my life was showing. The consequences slam me, push me and pull me, stop me in my tracks. I knew I was responsible, I knew I had to move, I knew a ship was calling me, screaming for a change. Now I know I'm a flower, blooming in the new day sun. I see that I'm a gift for all, I see the need to run. Well, I see me, and I see me, I see me, I see me. I'm through giving myself away, never standing in my power. I'm through needing you to say I'm valuable every hour. Ooh, now I see my brilliance, I see my inner strength, I see the wisdom of my soul, I see the light within. Oh, I see me, yeah, I see me, I see me, I see me, well, I see me, oh, I see me, da-da-dee-da, I see me, oh, I see me.
I love it. Absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Such joy. You bring such joy. I the words of the song and all of your music is so positive. And I love, Posy music in general. Our new thought, you know, artists are wonderful, but you bring that contemporary jazz, you bring that newness. It's just a different energy, and it's so exciting.
Well, thank you. It's really funny because when I started work on this album, the producers, the Brooklyn Forum said, "Who do you love? Who, when you grew up, what kind of?" So I loved Nancy Wilson. I loved Al Jarreau. I had a whole list of people, and I think some of them are infused in this music.
Well, aren't we all just a culmination of everything that we've done in life? And, you know, the line I love, I see who I've come here to be. That there's so much power in that, seeing that purpose. And it's so important to talk about and to empower each other. And we are live. I want to make sure people know they can ask questions, they can put comments. We would love to hear from you. We are live and with Reverend Cynthia James, and very grateful to do that. What was it like for you to make this album?
It was an extraordinary journey. I don't read music, I download music. And so all the albums I've recorded, the original music just kind of came in, and then I got with fabulous musicians who helped me put it on the page. But this was different because the producers were like, we don't want you to sit at a piano, and we don't want you to have a pen making notes. We want you to turn on your recorder. And when something in comes in, record it. And so like this one came in, I See Me came in when I was really just thinking about where am I in my life right now, and what's important for me and what's important for my clients and the people that I serve. And it was really to see yourself, to love yourself, because we've come here to be seen. And so this whole music and lyrics started just dropping in, and the whole album was that way. And so I feel like I was gifted with the music.
I think that I think when we pay attention, when we learn how. Actually, Science of Mind magazine this morning was on the silence and listening and being in that space, between the thought and the word, and, just being there, allowing that. It's amazing. Another line from this was, you allowed your emotions to block,
Yeah.
that intuition.
Yeah. I feel like when we're trying to be validated from the outside, when we're trying to be recognized and honored, um, and that's not happening on whatever level, the emotions get in the way of our intuitive knowing, get in the way of what's encoded in us, how we came here. They get in the way of our full expression. And so for me, it's like you must get in touch with and honor your emotions, but not allow them to hijack you so that you cannot hear that still small voice.
Mm. Emotions are like waves to me. They can truly be, if you go with them, they flow and they'll pass. And if you try to stand up against them and ignore them, they'll knock you under like the undertow. So it's learning how to go with the flow of them, and see the beauty and the good in even the seeming bad.
Yeah. Well, and understanding that they're messengers. You know, they're not here to take control. They're messengers, and you get to look at what do you want to take in and what do you want to just say, this does not belong to me.
Absolutely. And many of us were not trained to do that. You know,
Right.
we, it depends on how you were raised, and it's a very different world than it used to be. And I know for me, I was never exposed to anything New Thought talks about. Like I was never, this was a lot of it was a foreign foreign language to me in some ways. How do you help people on a one-to-one basis when you're working with your clients and you're coaching? How do you help someone that's never, like, where do you start?
I always start with intention. It's like, what do you want? What do you want to create? And then we talk about, what's the current reality, what's going on, and I remind them that there's a mind body connection, and that you can know something intellectually, you can know something, you've taken all the workshops or you've done all this stuff and you can know it, but everything that's ever happened to us is encoded in our body. And until we can get in touch with the language of the body and how it communicates and what it's telling us, because a lot of times it's telling us about things before we cognitively get them. So I invite people into a mind body connection, and to understand that, you bypassing mental, emotional, spiritual bypassing does not help you. You want to find out what's there, you want to face it, and you want to transform it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that. It sounds so simple when you say it, but what is your intention? If we really lived from that place of intention, we would live differently.
Yes.
And there's so much power in that reminder. So thank you. I actually needed that little takeaway today too. Reminding, sometimes we get caught up in the cycles of life, and you feel like, I always thought that a gym is like a perfect analogy for life. Everybody's on a treadmill. Everybody's in a hurry going nowhere. I thought that was just, I think it's the one of the biggest analogies for life, because everybody's at their job doing the next thing, rushing to the next thing, the rest day, the next appointment, the next everything. And where are we going? Like, where is the intention in? That's why sometimes people say same stuff, different day, because they're doing the same stuff and not making the day different.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that intention truly gives us the opportunity to say, okay, how do I adjust my sails so I'm going in the direction of choice, not habit?
Exactly. Well, because habits are what take us down the rabbit hole. Habits are what have us repeating patterns that we know don't serve us, inviting in the same toxic people and relationships, because we haven't looked at the habit and disconnected that cord.
And some of this programming was done in childhood.
Oh, totally.
A lot of it is, from childhood, that we don't realize. I'm perpetuating this false belief. I'm holding this and I don't need to. And that's the gift of going to workshops and different types of, doing, sometimes we call it work, but it's really life. It's not working on ourselves, it's living intentionally. So we do our spiritual tools, and we take our classes, and we really are. That's one of the gifts to me of Science of Mind, is it's a teaching.
Yes.
We are teaching. We're a philosophy. We're not saying that you're ever going to get this. We're never done. It's a teaching. So we're always learning. And when we are in that place of openness, it's amazing. A song can come along like yours, and say, oh, yeah, are my emotions blocking my intuition? Am I putting it aside? So
Yeah.
thank you. That is definitely powerful. And I wanted to mention, you have a TED Talk that is wonderful. Your TED Talk is, and all you have to do is go to YouTube. I encourage people to find their way to look you up on YouTube, and you actually have one for music, and you have another page that's for the rest of your videos and information. So I encourage people to join for both, because I have. And you also, your newsletter that tells people what's coming up, because you have so much going on right now. I know you just spoke at Agape, and that you sang at Mile High for your record release. How exciting is that, to go back home in a way? I know you were a minister there for 13 years, right?
No, 11 years. Yeah.
And even Agape is the homecoming too, because you did some training, you training there. So it's wonderful to come full circle, I'm sure.
I feel like I'm in some kind of cycle of completions. There's new stuff that's being birthed, but yeah, I mean, I I grew up in Agape and went through all of my training there. I learned how to be in ministry at Mile High, and to go back doing the things I'm doing today and being on purpose in my life just feels like such a gift and an honor to go back to where it started.
And to know your purpose, to know what you enjoy, and to have the courage to step out and do that. And I know you've been making music. This is your fourth music CD, and I know you've got a bunch. I love your meditations, which I again found through your workshop that you had done for us. You had done a weekend retreat for us, and it was beautiful. And there's it's such a safe landing space to be authentic. When someone is being authentic with you in that quiet space, and you are in that place of openness because they're open, that's where the shift comes in. So I thank you for that. I thank you for being in that place of sharing those gifts that you have and that you've worked on to be there. And while I said shift, you have something exciting coming up on the first of the year too. I,
Yeah,
I just heard about this, and I definitely want you to mention that because it's how exciting.
well, it's really wonderful. The Shift Network, which is one of the largest online platforms in the world, invited me to be a faculty. And I'm creating a class based on my book. My new book is Does My Voice Matter? And so the class is going to be Finding Your Voice. There's the cover. And yeah, so the class is going to be Finding Your Voice. We're going to have several weeks of just being together and taking a deep dive in what wants to emerge. How do you want to bring your authenticity? How do you want to create? How do you want to express? And I'm excited about that because it'll be the first class from the book. So it's great. I'm thrilled.
That's wonderful. It's exciting, and it's accessible worldwide, which is also a wonderful thing. And one of the things you said, that it's written for anyone who wants to discover the power within that makes them special.
Yeah. We don't remember all the time that we came here as unique, powerful, unrepeatable, energetic beings. I mean, that means we're unique and we're extraordinary. And so we've come here to do something that nobody else can do. We've come here to be seen. We've come here to fully express. And so I think people remembering that and awakening to that is like a portal into their self-expression and into their passion points.
Absolutely. As an individualized spark of divine, we are the house of divine. And the words that we say to ourselves and think about ourselves, it's so important that we remember that. Would you say that to divine? Would you, it's amazing when we put it in those terms, how different we can start to, the energy around it can shift for us. And, it doesn't matter who you are, anyone can benefit. It doesn't matter race, religion, sexual orientation. We each have our own unique piece. To me, I call it, I like a mosaic or a puzzle. We need to be our piece, or something is missing from the world.
Yes. Yeah.
And when we're at peace with our peace, so when we love ourselves exactly as we are in our individualized expression, that's when amazing things happen.
Yeah, and that's why self-care is so important, that you honor and love and support this body temple, your consciousness, your way of being. It's really, it's important because, I mean, when you think about that, the universe breathed its life into you, as you, through you, so that you could come here and be a conduit, a voice through which spirit reveals itself. I mean, that's some powerful stuff. I mean, it's like, wow, you are a wow.
Yes. And some things help us remember. And this is a beautiful opportunity for people to be empowered to find their voice. There's so many things. It's amazing when we look at the chakras and where the energy can be bottled up. Anything, really to find our voice frees so much in the body.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's why yoga and Tai Chi and Qigong and a lot of those exercises that move energy are so important because they open up the channels for us to remember who we are.
Yes, yes. Wayne says hello from Calgary.
Hello. Hi.
That's from Canada. And we have another song that before we go a little bit more into the book, can we play your other song?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's put that one up there, because this is another one that even just the title is beautiful. So let's play this, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit about this one. Stop, pause, look, and listen. Again, just the title alone. Stop, pause, look, and listen.
Stop. Pause. Look. Listen. Stop. Pause. Look. Listen. Stop the chaos, pause the conversation, look inside and listen. Stop the chaos, pause the conversation, look inside and listen. There's nothing outside to stop your freedom, nothing outside to halt your destiny, nothing outside to limit your expression. There's nothing outside of you. So stop. Pause. Look. Listen. Stop. Pause. Look. Listen. Stop the fighting, pause your judgments, look inside and listen to your heart. Stop the fighting, pause your judgments, look inside and listen to your heart. All that you need's on the inside, so open your heart and mind. There's a world waiting for you. All you need to do is start. Stop. Pause. Look. Listen, yeah. Stop. Pause. Look. Listen. Trust your journey. Take a leap. Don't fight. Don't run. Soar. It's all right. You're held. You're loved. Stop. Pause. Look. Listen. Stop. Pause. Look. Listen. Stop the fighting, pause your judgment, look inside and listen to your heart. Stop the fighting. Pause your judgments, look inside and listen to your heart. There's nothing outside to push you, nothing outside to rescue your soul, nothing outside to heal all the wound. There's nothing outside of you. So stop, pause, yeah, look, listen, yeah, stop.
So, love the message. It's just pay attention.
Yeah. I think it's when the pandemic came, you know, the whole of humanity got set down. And I think it was such an opportunity because so many people started looking inside, reflecting, am I doing what I want to do? It's tomorrow's not guaranteed. Am I bringing my light to this planet? What am I doing? And I think this thing they're calling the great resignation of people just not wanting to work in jobs that don't feed their souls and don't pay them and I think all of that, I think people have been historically looking outside of themselves to be seen or rescued or saved or whatever it is, and starting to realize that I have to go, I have to stop, I have to pause, and I have to go inside and listen to my heart, listen to my inner knowing, because it's guiding me in ways that may not be linear, but they're powerful.
Absolutely. Now, we talk about your book a little bit more, I wanted to know how did you start there? I mean, I know it's a long process to create a book, and you've been, is this your fifth book?
Yeah.
And including a children's book, I want to put a plug out there for, which, you are loved. What child doesn't need that book? So, absolutely. And everything is available on Amazon. So, I want people to know where they can find it. But I want to talk about your book a little bit more. And what was your inspiration? How did you come to this title?
You know, this is this is one of those synchronistic stories. I'm a part of the Transformational Leadership Council, which was started by Jack Canfield. And I was at one of our events and I was having lunch with this amazing woman whose name is Sam Horn. She's a writing coach and a speaking coach. I mean, she's just amazing. And we were having lunch and she was asking me what was on my mind. And I was telling her I wanted to write this book. And I was giving her thoughts. And I said, I think I want to call it Does Your Voice Matter? So she's asking me some other questions about my life. And she said, I don't know. I think this book could be called Does My Voice Matter? And when she said that, this energy kind of went over me. My body started tingling. And I was like, okay, pay attention here. And so I went up and I bought the URL. I didn't even know what I was going to put in the book. I had no idea about anything. But I just got this, it felt like urgency to write. So I created a book proposal. And I want anybody who's listening to hear the story because it's important. One of my dear friends is a very successful Hay House author. And she said to me, let me take your book proposal to Hay House. And so I said, great, that would be exciting. So I got an email back saying, this is great. We like your topic. It's very timely. And just fix these two things and send it back in and I'll take it to the acquisition team. And so that's what happened. And then a couple of 3 weeks went by and then I got an email saying, we think you're a great writer. We love your topic, but we're going to pass because you don't have a big enough platform. Now, anybody who's trying to get books published knows that the whole publishing industry has changed and people want platforms with big Instagram and Facebook followers and, millions of people following them. And I know this. I mean, I coach people on this, but it did something to me. It was like a punch to my solar plexus, my center for power. And I just got kind of knocked to my knees and I put the book aside. And what I realized, that 2 years of putting the book aside was really me going into the self discovery of, does my voice matter? Why does it matter? What have I come here to do? All these things I've been through in all these decades where I was in, um, where I was impressed by what was going on in culture, what was going on for women, what was going on for people of color. That had to be part of the book. So I realized today that when that happened, I needed that pause to go in and reflect on what really wanted to be told, what authentically wanted to come through me so that I could give people tools to find their own voice.
And I really appreciate you sharing that vulnerably, because it's not, it feels like rejection. And sometimes it feels like, why is the universe putting this here? But it's so important to know that it's just a not yet. They're not no's. They're just either not yets or not this way. Spirit has the bigger picture. So if your heart is called to write a book, write the book. If you're, don't worry about the how it's going to get to people. Start with knowing that it's your calling.
Yes, absolutely. And follow that inner guidance, because in that 2 years of me just sitting with it and then starting to write when the pandemic hit, actually, I mean, all kinds of things came through, memories, experiences, learnings, everything that's happened to us. It is a part of the divine plan. It's a part of this journey called life. And so if you can really face them and honor them, you get to see how extraordinary you are and how much you have learned, because everything has made you who you are today.
And it's all, it's either fuel or fertilizer. And even the seeming bad stuff is fertilizer to help us grow.
That's right.
We get that opportunity of perspective, especially when we take a step back. So if it's a not yet, it doesn't mean not at all, it just means not yet. So divine timing stepped in and said, okay, so I appreciate you sharing that, because it's so important. Because it is, there's a lot of things in life that have changed as far as how we do things. And the beauty of it is anyone can print a book. And now it's a question of, okay, well, Spirit, what do you want me to do with it? And
Exactly.
but if your voice does matter, and if there's something in you, I love when Wayne Dyer said, "Don't die with the music still in you." The world needs what light you have to offer, especially right now. How do you help people that are caught up in the right now, what's going on? Right now, the world that we live in is a constant distraction. You turn on the news, and there's a lot of heavy negative againstness. How do you help people that are caught up in that? What would you say to someone?
Well, I would tell them that there's a both and. I would tell you, I was with someone the other day, um, who I've known for many years, and she was telling me that she was tired of the news and that she was just going to, she had shut it all off and she was going to live in her bubble. And this is what I want to say. I know a lot of people feel that way, but I want you to know you're in the bubble of humanity. So you cannot run from what's happening. You cannot hide. You can decide, how do I want to interact with it? What kind of action do I want to take to make a difference in, so Gina, you're doing this podcast, this show, so to bring other people in, to bring joy. Some people are activists in the street with signs. Some people are writing books. Some people are teaching. Some people are doing it through art or film. The thing is that you cannot sit on the sidelines and pretend you are not a part of it, because you are. The thing is, what do you want to do to make a difference? What do you want to do to bring love? What do you want to do to bring joy? That's what I tell people. You can't hide from what's happening, because if you stop participating, you are participating in letting things happen that you don't want.
Absolutely. You know, we must be the change we wish to see in the world. Gandhi said that, and I totally believe that. What do we choose to bring forth, and how do we do that? And that's why this show and the Peace Circle was formed. I had no idea what peace meant. I didn't know how to. I didn't have any, and I certainly wasn't contributing it to the world. It was a sound bite to me. It wasn't anything that I lived. It's a practice, and we get to live from that center place, and we get to stop, look, and listen. And for some people, and I know for me, being still was excruciating. When I first started with meditation, I had 3 minutes in an egg timer, and it was excruciating. That's how I started with meditation. And there's no wrong way but not to do it. But I bought a dozen books. I didn't read them, but I bought a dozen books about it. I did all the things that I thought I needed to do before I just started with 3 minutes. And that's the answer, is to start whatever you need to do to get towards what it is you're working towards. What is that intention? And I appreciate you really bringing light to that. It's so important that we are the voice, we want to hear.
Yes, absolutely. And participate in things that make a difference to you, are important to you. I mean, it could be being a more beneficial presence in your family. It could be being a beneficial presence in your spiritual community or the community in which you live. I mean, it doesn't have to be some big grand thing like running for office or whatever. But I think bringing your light and your consciousness and your authenticity, what you believe, into the world, and knowing that part of what is happening in the world is that we really kind of sat back and thought somebody else would do it, whatever it was. Somebody else would create it, somebody else would fix it. But when you do that, you are basically communicating that you have no power. And so then anyone can step in and exert their own power and create what they want. So I'm just saying to people, what do you want? What's going to make you happy? What's going to bring you joy? What's going to make a difference on this planet? What's going to leave a planet for our children that we're proud of?
And we're doing it anyway. We have children, we have grandchildren, we have friends and family. We're making an imprint. Are we making the one we choose? Or are
Right.
we griping about what's there? Because what we resist persists. We know this. And thoughts are things. So if I am sitting there just, talking about and expounding on all that's wrong, I'm more of the problem than the solution.
Yes.
So how are we speaking to our grandchildren? What books are we reading them? What are we telling them about what's going on, and how are we empowering them to live differently?
Yeah, because complacency doesn't do anything except have people feel stuck. And children do not listen to what we say, they watch what we do. And
So important. Can you repeat that?
yeah, they don't listen to what we say. They watch what we do and they emulate it. So just because you're talking all spiritual, if you're not acting that way, they're going to follow your action.
How many people go to church on Sunday and are swearing at someone in traffic the next day, or even on the way home? It's not about being an armchair, metaphysician. It's
That's right.
about being in it and living from that place of source energy. And that's a practice. Nobody's perfect at it, but we make up the change in the world. We are that when we start living or choose to live consciously. It's an incremental thing, it doesn't happen overnight, but it's a practice. Just like what we teach, they're practices.
Yes, yes. And I think the more we practice being awake, the more we practice being aware, the more we practice being conscious, the easier it is. I mean, I was like you when I meditated. It was like I was supposed to be meditating for 5 minutes, and I kept looking at the watch, and it was like 30 seconds, and you know. But now, the spiritual practice and meditation is a big part of my life, and so whatever you want to create, whatever you want to call, it takes practice.
And it doesn't have to be excruciating. Like, make it fun. Like, there's so many wonderful ways and opportunities. I appreciate guided meditation. It helps me. I appreciate that. Some people don't. They just like silent meditation. Some people don't like meditation at all, but maybe they can do yoga. So there's different types of walking in nature is meditation. There's so many ways, and it's important that people know there's no wrong way. It's just doing something to move in the direction intentionally that we choose.
Yeah, it's so funny because uh, for years I was doing classes and I would hear, I can't just sit down and go I can't just sit down, you know. So I created these moving meditations and I said, go take a hike and use the moving meditation. Go outside and dance, you know. And so it was really wonderful to see people going, oh, I don't just have to do this. I can get up and I can move my body and I can have the affirmations and the energy move through me as I'm moving because movement is medicine.
It truly is in so many ways because the energy gets stuck. And that's one of the things I really appreciated when you with the workshop with you as well is you talked about that and how do we move that stuck energy, because that's when things happen when we're not paying attention. That's where dis-ease comes from, is when it's stuck and we're not doing anything with it. And for most of my life I lived in that place of denial. I didn't know any differently. If there was something to do, I did it. I didn't think about, was it good for me? I didn't think about, can I do it? Should I do it? Is it the best thing for me to do? It was, well, if I can do it and someone asked me to do it, I'll do it. There wasn't a thought process around it. And
Yeah,
today I realize I can do it, but at the expense of what?
right. Yeah.
So there's a whole different dynamic that goes on when you realize you have choice.
Yeah, and you've used that word a couple of times, you know. We are making choices whether we're awake or not. So the thing is to be so conscious that you're choosing consciously how you want to live, how you want to speak, how you want to eat, how what kind of people you want in your life. I was on a podcast earlier today, and I was speaking with this man. The host that was a Jewish man, and he was talking about this tradition as part of the Jewish tradition. That it really was like, look at the words you are speaking, look at what you are saying to yourself, about others. And it was so powerful because it was like when you start doing that, you can't make fun of people from different cultures or races because you know it's out of integrity with your soul. You know, you can't speak unkindly about people because it's out of integrity. You can decide, I don't want to interact with that person, but it's just because it's not a fit. The frequencies don't match. But making them blaming them or being unkind, I just think is not helpful for the choices that you're making for your own health and well-being.
It's so important that we remember when we are in that place of blame, we're victims.
Okay.
And while in some cases there's absolutely awareness that needs to happen, there is no progress when we stay as a victim. As a victor, we can get anything accomplished. Spirit as us is mighty and can do anything. But in the victim role, that oftentimes many people walk around with that hat on all of their life.
Right. I think Carolyn Mays calls it victimology. Yeah.
And there are times in our lives that there are things that happen, and when you realize it, it's like, okay, I can choose to stay in the trauma and allow it to stay in me, or I can move through it. I can acknowledge it, and I can step into what's next.
Yeah,
And
I'm sorry.
no, I just think that it's important, and the work that you do really helps people step into what's next.
Yeah, it's why I did my TED Talk. The title is, The Past Does Not Define Us. And if you were to look at my history, you would say, this girl coming from abuse and trauma and welfare and all kinds of other stuff. I mean, there's no way I should be living the life I live today if I just was keep focused on that. And so I think, places like New Thought Centers, I mean, shows like yours, books, classes, I think get the tools you need to begin to make choices for your health and your well being, because the past does not have to drag you down a rabbit hole. You get to choose to live abundantly. You get to choose to live healthily. You get to choose to have love in your life and healthy, joyous relationships.
Even if you were never taught before.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I mean, there wasn't a model in my family. I mean, I came from 5 generations of women who were abused and traumatized, and people were drinking, and there was all kinds of stuff there. So there was no model. But I believe that spark of the divine that lives within us was operating fully, and it was the thing that kept telling me I was chosen. I mean, that's where that name came from for the CD. It was the part that was telling me that I was chosen, that I was here. I was not a mistake. I was important, and I mattered. And that's true of every single soul.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, as always, the time flies. So, the book on September 27th, but you can pre order it on Amazon. I want to make sure people know, does my voice matter? And absolutely, absolutely. And Chosen is your CD, also available on your website as well.
Yeah, it's also on Spotify and iTunes and Amazon, and so you can find it in a lot of places.
Wonderful. And your cynthiajames.net, and people can reach out to you there. There's a per place for questions or comments. People can reach out to you and ask you questions about how to get you for their center, or how is it, whatever questions or comments they may have, which is really important. And it's also, I wanted to just mention, I love your champion for change. That's your, I know that that's on your website. That's your, all of what you do falls under that. And I just want to say that it's so important that we remember change is good.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Not always fun, but it's really good. And it helps us grow, and it helps us expand, and it helps us stretch.
And you've got a couple of things coming up. I know you're going to be at Unity Houston, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, in Unity and New Vision CSL in Phoenix. So people
Mhm.
can go onto your events page on your website and they can find you. And, there's so much that you do that I love and appreciate. And I hope people will look into your website and take a look. Also, your music, thank you for making it available to people on it is on YouTube, that people can actually reach out and they can listen to the songs that we played. And the last time, Just Being Me, we also played on the last time you were here, because that was the first single you had dropped. So I love that one as well. But you have a bunch of them on YouTube that are available, and I encourage people to do that, to go on YouTube and to listen to some of your past CDs as well on there. Thank you. Any final words or anything that you want to leave people with today?
I First of all, Gina, thank you for having me here. Anyone listening, I want you to know that it's not an accident that you're on the planet at this moment. You're here because your energy, your frequency, your gifts are necessary for the transformation of humanity. You are a magnificent masterpiece in the making. Honored to walk this path with you.
Wayne says, "Light workers unite." Absolutely. And, that's really, we are here. We need each other.
Yes, we do.
So thank you. Thank you for being here, for your wonderful message. And just know that we are here on this network because of people just like you out there. So ntmedia.org. I invite you to take a look at the website. All of our past episodes of everything has been posted. So you have links on there for all of our shows. It has our schedule, it has all kinds of information, completely updated. So go to ntmedia.org. And if you've been blessed by the messages here, click on donate. We appreciate it. It allows us to reach out to more people. And I look forward to hearing you. I was asking you about, you have to get Reverend Robert to make sure he's playing you on New Thought Radio as well.
Thank
So
you.
I can't wait to hear about the Shift Network in January. You've got that, but you said you'll have more information for us come November. So we'll have to have you back on here talking about that and how to let people know how to get involved as well. Thank you for being here and for all that you do. And I want to just mention one quick shout out. We have a workshop coming up, Manifest More Money. And it's a 5-week online workshop that Reverend Rochelle McCurry is doing. And she is amazing. So there's some more information on our website as well about that. But it's, just know that that is there as another opportunity here on the network. And some of the proceeds do go to the network itself. Thank you, and I cannot wait to read your book, and I look forward to more and more wonderful work that you do. Thank you for the light you are in the world, and thank you to each and all. Know that you can reach out to me, Gina at believeinouttoday.com, with any comments, questions. Thank you for being here with us. Blessings and love to all. Have a beautiful week, and may you find even greater joy.